here's what I think. I think if we're going to do that, I'm on board. But if we're going to do that, we need to make sure the fire service is present out there at some time. So the pond that's down in the bottom by the arch. I think Butte-Silver should work out a deal with them, put a dry hydrant in there, and consistently go and flush it and make sure it's operating. Because here's the thing: if we're going to add all those particular fractions, they're completely it's going to put something else from the fire. So this, oh yeah, because there's so you would put it deep enough up there, there's a lot of water. That's... As soon as you drop off, it starts getting and then the water behind us is all there's cycles and suck because there's something close to it. Yeah. Well, there's so thanks. Yeah. Well. All right, we're gonna have a long night. I had a big hearing this morning. I was going to say, I can tell. He even asked me, where's the special suit jacket? I had a big hearing this morning, and I won, so it was good. And it was close. I'd like to call the Butte-Silver Bowl Council of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 to order. Clerk, could we please have a roll call? Commissioner Walker, could you please check in?
Ten present, 2 absent.
10 present, 2 absent. Please note that Commissioner Gerbrandt and Commissioner Shea are absent from tonight's meeting. Commissioner Walker, could you lead us in the prayer and the pledge? Next, we'll move on to any public comment on any item on tonight's agenda. If you'd like to speak on any item on tonight's agenda, please come forward, state your name, your address, and the item that you'd like to speak about. And there's a button there, it'll light that up. There you go, you got it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Hi, I'm Katie Dunville, 2723 Edwards. And my agenda I'd like to speak on is for the coroner.
Could you pull that mic closer to you? Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, that's way better. All right. Good evening, Chief Executive Gallagher, Chairman Morgan, and the members of the Board of the Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me the opportunities to speak today regarding the coroner position. I'd like to express my full support for Marcy Cameron for this role. I've had the privilege of working alongside her and seeing firsthand the dedication, professionalism, and compassion she brings to this field every day. This is not a position that can simply be learned overnight. It requires experience, leadership, sound judgment, organization, and the ability to treat families with dignity and respect during the hardest moments of their lives. Marcy Cameron possesses all of these qualities and more. She's been doing this work since the 90s, and that level of experiences is invaluable. Over the years, she has built knowledge in every aspect of the job. She's intelligent, highly organized, fair in her decision-making, and an exceptional leader. She understands not only the technical side of the position, but also the human side. I also believe she has the ability to lead this department forward in a positive direction. I confidently say she's the right person for this position, and my support comes from seeing her work ethic, leadership, and commitment firsthand. Our county deserves someone with experience, fairness, and compassion serving in this important role. I truly believe Marcy Cameron is the best choice. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Haley Den, Chief Executive Gallagher, Chairman John Morgan, and the members of the Board of Commissioners. I am also a deputy coroner, and I would also like to speak in support of appointing Marcy Cameron as the interim coroner for Butte-Silver. I strongly recommend Marcy for this position. She is by far the most qualified and experienced candidate available to serve in this role. Marcy has served as a deputy coroner since the 90s, and she brings decades of firsthand medical legal death investigation experience, institutional knowledge, and professional leadership to the office. Beyond her experience, Marcy has consistently demonstrated the honesty, integrity, and professionalism that are essential for public trust in the coroner's office. She leads by example, supports her coworkers with fairness and respect, and has earned the confidence of those who have worked alongside her. The coroner's office requires someone who can provide stability, credibility, and competent leadership from day one. Marcy Cameron already possesses the experience, judgment, and ethical foundation necessary to fulfill that role effectively and serve the community with professionalism and compassion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Welcome.
Reddy Frost, 2000 Roberts Avenue. Communication number 2026-220 is that increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue that will be going to the rural wildfires budget. Is any of that going to be used to improve our volunteer fire departments in Butte-Silver? As
That,
most
that is a public hearing, so you can
Okay.
ask questions on that.
Perfect. And then communication number 2026-259. Heck yeah. TDS is cheaper than the internet service they're currently using, and this will greatly benefit the people of Butte-Silver and our volunteer fire departments. And I believe that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frost. Is there any other public comment on any item on tonight's agenda?
If I can.
So I just have a couple of quick comments.
Could we
on-
please have your
Oh, yeah,
name and
sorry.
address?
Allison Anderson, I live in District 9. Communication 2026-260, which is Mr. Vanderab's communication about neighborhood community councils. We had a meeting last night about this, and I had 4 points to talk about. But I'll just give you my opinions, because this is something I've been very interested in for the last several years. And I did reach out to other communities who have community councils, and they function beautifully. They really add to the citizens' participation in their local government. And I was glad to see Chairman Morgan move this to the Rules Committee. I think that's his recommendation. Very glad to see that, so hopefully we can have more discussion. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Is there any other public comment on any item on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the May 6th, 2026 regular meeting. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the May 6th, 2026 regular meeting minutes.
We have a motion and a second to approve the May 6, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Next, we'll move on. We don't have any items that are not addressed on tonight's agenda, so we'll move on to the Chief Executive's report. We did have ad hoc committee meeting this last week. As many know that the SABE terminated their buy-sell agreement out at Montana Connections Park. And so with that, we really don't have an active data center agreement out there. And so with that, we had an update kind of talking about the data center with the Quincy, Washington visit and all the things that went along with it. But because there really isn't an active purchase and sale and active engagement going on with that, we are going to suspend the ad hoc committee as it is now in such time, unless there is more engagement that goes along with the ad hoc committee. The ad hoc committee did a lot of work. SABE is still looking in southwest Montana, including Silver Bowl. They're looking in Deer Lodge County and other places in southwest Montana. They're still number one in the queue in Northwest Energy's portfolio. But we don't see a need for the ad hoc committee to continue to meet at this time, unless such time that they purchase property in Butte-Silver Bowl. And as we know, the REC has exercised the ROFR, and that'll come forth as well. And so we're working with them. Director Burns is working with REC on the purchase and sale within the ROFR, and so we'll be doing negotiations back and forth with that and what that will look like with REC on the purchase and sale of the land of the 600 plus acres out there with REC. So that will continue, and so the engagement with that and how that looks moving forward. So that just happened, and so I want to thank the ad hoc committee for their work, because that was extensive and that was mostly volunteer. We had, our members of Butte-Silver that did it, but also we had a lot of volunteers from just within, volunteers in the community that gave up a lot of time to do that. And so I just want to commend them and thank them for the work that they did as well. And then also I want to congratulate our council member, Thatcher, for achieving her master's degree. Commissioner Thatcher, is she a Montana Tech master's degree graduate? And so congratulations. And getting a degree at Montana Tech is no small feat, and congratulations in all of her future endeavors, because that's no small achievement as well. And so as we move forward, I'll conclude the Chief Executive's report, as we have a lot of things going on. So we'll move on to Section 1, bid openings and public hearings. We have, I believe, 4 public hearings tonight. So we'll move on to number 1, communication. I have to bring all my cheaters. Item number 1, communication number 2026-205, Karen Hassler, Finance and Budget Director, requesting, County Attorney Enruth, do we have proof of publication on all of our public hearings tonight?
Chief Executive Gallagher, we have proof of publication on all 4 public hearings and the bid openings.
Thank you, County Attorney Enruth. Our first one is communication number 2026-205, Karen Hassler, Finance and Budget Director, requesting Council of Commissioners permission to schedule a public hearing on May 20th, 2026 to amend the fiscal year 2025-26 budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue in the Capital Improvement Fund Sheriff's budget in the amount of $48,950. Director Hassler.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, members of council. The purpose of this public hearing this evening is to allow for public comment on amending the fiscal year 25-26 budget to allow for unanticipated revenue from insurance proceeds from our insurance carrier, which is Montana Municipal Insurance Authority, resulting from the loss of a total police vehicle in February of 2025. And the proceeds of this insurance payment will go towards replacing that police car in fiscal year 2026.
Thank you, Director Hassler. Is there any questions of commissioners before I open the public hearing? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents.
Freddie Frost, 2000 Roberts Avenue. I am in favor of the insurance company paying us. Thank you.
Second call for proponents. Third call for proponents. Next, I'll call for opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third call for opponents. I'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll move on to item number 2, communication number 2026-220, Zach Osborne, Butte-Silver Bowl Fire Chief, requesting Council of Commissioners permission to schedule a public hearing on May 20th, 2026 to amend the fiscal year 2025-2026 Fire Department Rural Wildfires budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue. Director Osborne.
Hello, everybody. Chief Executive, members of the council. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive public comment to amend the fiscal year 2025 and 2026 budget to allow for unanticipated revenue generated by the wildland fires that we attended last year. The revenue will be used to pay wages and benefits for the personnel that went on those deployments, and anything extra goes into an equipment allocation fund that we call the Wildland Fund. Do I answer Mr. Frost's question now or later?
Yeah, it could be now.
So,
yes.
So everybody knows, this fund is not earmarked to any department. This just goes right to a fund that we can use with the okay of the chief executive for anything that we need for equipment. So prioritization goes through, and as I get requests from all departments, whether it's paid or volunteers, that's where that funding goes. There's over $200,000 that we made last year. I like to keep about 70,000 of that going into this year's wildland season, because as we get paid, as personnel go on deployments, as soon as they get done with the deployment, we pay that to them. And then we need a fund that we can pay them out of, because the DNRC does not pay us back right away. It is sometimes months down the road. So, yep, it's a fund that goes towards needed equipment.
Thank you, Director Osborne. Is there any questions of commissioners? Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Mr. Osborne, when they pay you when you send guys to their fires and they pay their wages, right? Okay, the federal government pays time and a half for overtime. Butte-Silver Bow gets double time. Do they cover that extra, or who covers that extra?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Osborne.
Yeah, Chief Executive and Council Callahan. No, that's not how our contract with the DNRC works. Before the fire season starts, I have an option 3 contract that I sign with the DNRC, and it is their overtime rate only. It's not double time, is their overtime rate only. So every personnel has their specific rate, and that is what the DNRC reimburses us. Wages and benefits. It is their rate, their overtime rate, plus their benefit value.
Thank you, Director Osborne. Does that answer your question? Follow-up, Commissioner Callahan.
So when there's long hours and they're getting paid overtime at double time, the DNRC isn't covering the cost to have them there. Is that what you're telling us?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Osborne.
Chief Executive and Commissioner Callahan, no, they will pay the hours that they are working. So if it's a 16-hour day, they reimburse that personnel for 16 hours. If it's a 12-hour day, they reimburse that person for 12 hours. That's what they get paid, is the hours that they are worked.
Follow-up, Commissioner Callahan.
Well, out of them 16 hours, that would be 8 hours overtime at double time. And if the federal government pays time and a half, obviously there's a discrepancy there.
Commissioner Callahan, Director Osborne.
I'm not, Chief Executive and Commissioner Callahan, I'm not sure how else to answer it. They have an option 3 agreement pre-fire that we agree to that has their base wage, which is their base wage, but according to us, it is the overtime rate plus their benefits. So they have an hourly rate that the DNRC already agrees to before they even leave on the fire, that they are to pay that rate when they return to the fire. They turn in the number of hours. If they worked on that fire 120 hours, they get reimbursed. We get reimbursed. Butte-Silver Bow gets reimbursed those 120 hours.
So, Director Osborne, so to clarify that, so that it is fully reimbursed on what our personnel are there, it is fully reimbursed. We are not, Butte-Silver Bow is not compensating for our personnel being there above and beyond the rate that DNRC is paying. Is that correct?
Chief Executive, that is correct. And one more thing to add, if personnel are out on a fire and it causes an overtime to our stations, they also pay that overtime rate back to the city of what that overtime costed an employee to fill that seat here. So everything 100% is reimbursed to Butte-Silver.
Thank you, Director Osborne. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Thank you, Chief Osborne. My mind's spinning now, but how I'm understanding you say it is the contract that you're entering us into, or that the fire department's entering into, say their base pay here in Butte is $20, but we're telling the DNRC it's $40 because that's our two-time, right? And so we're flat out saying you're paying us the double overtime already to start no matter what. Is that correct?
Commissioner Thatcher, Director Osborne.
Yeah, Chief Executive and Commissioner Thatcher, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of commissioners? Seeing none? Okay. Seeing no more questions of commissioners, I'm going to open the public hearing. First call for proponents.
Reddy Frost, 2000 Roberts Avenue. I'm a proponent because this seems like it opens some of that money up. In the original communication for this public hearing, quoting it, the unanticipated revenue is intended to pay wages and benefits for those members who participated in the deployment, as well as to make equipment purchases and building improvements. A lot of our volunteer fire departments, the buildings that they're operating in are, I'm hesitant to say out of code, but there does seem to be some much needed improvements made to those buildings, which would all do us a lot of good, as well as our volunteer fire departments. That said, with that in mind, I am in favor of this because I hope that some of that money does go back to promoting the general well good for the rest of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frost. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. Next, I'll call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. I'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll move on to communication number 2026-228. Angie Mulligan, Public Works Budget Manager, requesting Council Commissioners' permission to schedule a public hearing on May 20th, 2026, to amend the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to allow for increased expenditure of unanticipated revenue for a grant from NRDP to fund the water meter program for the Water Division. Director Neary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners. The reason for this public hearing is for public participation about amending the fiscal year budget, 2025-2026 budget, to allow for a grant of $853,489 to come into Butte-Silver. I think everybody knows about the grant that Public Works and Planning worked extremely hard to get this, but it's about getting our users who are on flat rates onto a meter program, with also a grant program as part of this to pay for some of the plumbing and stuff to receive the meters.
Thank you, Director Neary. Any questions of commissioners? Commissioner O'Leary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Just one clarification on this. Are we going to basically get rid of flat rate accounts entirely, or is this still a volunteer program?
Commissioner O'Leary, Director Neary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Commissioner O'Leary, we're trying to get everybody off the flat rates. Most of the problem that we have is people can't afford to do the plumbing in the house. So that's our problem. And this will only be for 848 meters, and then the rest of the money will be for the plumbing. And then, hopefully we'll just kind of keep this program going. But yeah, we're trying to get everybody off. I mean, there are still a lot of people who don't want a meter, but a lot of them do want it. They just can't afford to do the plumbing.
Thank you, Director Neary. Follow-up, Commissioner O'Leary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. And do we know, or do you have off the top of your head, how many services are unmetered currently in Butte-Silver Bowl?
Commissioner O'Leary, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner O'Leary, 4,200.
Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Mr. Neary, could you give us a cost of the meters minus the plumbing?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Callahan. No. I think when we put meters in right now, I think it's about $450 for the meter and for us to put in a meter but we don't have to do the plumbing.
Okay. Yeah, and Commissioner Mankins.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. That was half of the question that Mr. Callahan asked. So how do you see this saying sustainable throughout to take care of the other 4,200?
Commissioner Mankins, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Mankins, this was some funding that was left from the NRD funds that was from the
BNRC.
From BNRC, that there was a certain amount that we actually sought out. So we're just kind of taking one step at a time. This was all the money that we could get, so this is all we could do from here going forward. This will be a 2-year program, and then hopefully we'll look into another grant program after that.
Follow-up, Commissioner Mankins.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. So Director Neary, can anybody, or do you have a certain area that you're targeting, or can anybody sign up if they wanted to proceed forward in doing this?
Commissioner Mankins, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Mankins, anybody can.
Okay. And this is a program for the community. Anybody can submit to go to the meter program, and we will try to make this sustainable. We'll look for other grant funding, but it may be a program that Butte-Silver Bowl tries to continue to fund, whether we get grant funding or not. It's a program that we need to do. Most communities require metering in their community. It's part of sustainability when you do that with watering and stuff, and so it's one of those things that you need to do within communities. So we'll continue to move forward with this and try to do this. And affordability is one of the big things that when people do this, to try to get it into their houses, and some of it is meter pits, and to be able to get that into it. So we'll continue to move forward with that. Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher and Commissioner Callahan, to your question, Zane Gleason did have a spreadsheet for his presentation, and Zane and Julia, but I don't have that in front of me to know the exact breakdown.
Is there any other questions of commissioners? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents.
Ready for Oz, 2000 Roberts Avenue. I'm still a proponent of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Second call for proponents. Third call for proponents. Next, I'll move to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. I'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll move on to communication number 2026-229. Angie Mulligan, Public Works Budget Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners permission to schedule a public hearing on May 20th, 2026 to amend the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue for a grant from NRDP to fund the Basin Creek Park Rehabilitation Project. Director Frederickson.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, members of the Commission. The purpose of this public hearing is for amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue. The unanticipated revenue is for a grant from the NRDP for the Basin Creek Park Rehabilitation Project, and the amount is $735,465.
Is there any questions of commissioners? Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. My question is, do you guys have a plan yet for the rehabilitation of the park?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Frederickson.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Callahan, we just selected our contractor, which came before this commission 2 weeks ago. We went with Great West Engineering, and we actually just had our kickoff meeting about 4 hours ago. So no, we haven't had a plan yet. We're just kind of going over our timeline, and you know, one of the first steps is what we talked about is public engagement and what that will look like. So once we start coming up with the design and what it looks like, we'll certainly be here to show you all and ask for participation.
Thank you, Director Frederickson. Follow Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you. I guess my next question is, hopefully that grow area that the arborist took a big chunk of the park is going to go, and you'll get it back as usable park.
Commissioner Callahan, Director Frederickson.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Callahan, I guess I'm on which part of the park? Sorry.
Just as you're going into the park, heading towards the gazebo on the left-hand side there, where he's got them trees and stuff planted, that was all part of the park before, and it's all fenced off now to keep the deer from.
Oh,
Commissioner
yeah.
Callahan, Director Frederickson.
Yeah, sorry. So that's Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Callahan. That's the edible forest our urban forester has been working on for a few years, which was, he received grant dollars for that. So, yeah, I mean, when those trees get established, the fence it'll be open to the public, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much, well, the park's closed right now, but he can offer tours. He offers tours any time upon request, but eventually, as we open up the park and it gets more mature, that'll be open for the public, for sure.
Follow Commissioner Callahan.
So what you're telling me is that's staying as a grow area? It's
Commissioner-
going to eliminate part of the park?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Frederickson.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Callahan, yeah, that edible forest is now a part of the park.
Thank you, Director Frederickson. Okay. Any other questions of commissioners? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. First call for proponents.
Reddy Frost, 2000 Roberts Avenue. I am a proponent of this. Thank you.
Second call for proponents. Third call for proponents. Next, I'll move to opponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. I'll close the public hearing. Next, we'll move on to bid openings. Item number 5, communication number 2026-247, Energy Mulligan, Public Works Budget Manager, requesting Council Commissioners permission to schedule a bid opening for May 20th, 2026 for a heavy-duty trailer for the Roads Department. Director Neary. So we already said we have proof of publication. Yep.
Looks like we have 3 bids. The first one is from RDO Equipment out of Bozeman.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Council, we have a bid bond amount and 10% of the overall bid.
Thank you, County Attorney Enruth.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners, the total lump sum for this is $99,000 even. $99,000.
Thank you, Director Neary.
The second bid is from Holden Industries, Neosho, Missouri. Probably butchered that name, but.
Sounds good to me.
Chief Executive Gallagher, doesn't look like there's a bid bond.
So without a bid bond, we can't accept this bid. Okay. So we will not be able to accept the bid from.
There's a bid bond sheet that says see attached, but there's nothing with it.
Okay.
The third bid is from Torgerson's.
Chief Executive Gallagher, there's a bid bond amount in the amount of 10% of the overall bid.
Thank you, County Attorney Enroth.
Chief Executive Gallagher, the total lump sum of this is $228,665 even. $228,665.
That's $228,665,000. Thank you, Director Neary. Chairman Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Just for the members of the public that are listening and the ex-commissioners that I'm sure are listening, the engineering estimate for this was $165,000. At this time, I'll make a motion that we refer the bids to the Public Works Department and await their response back.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to refer back to the Public Works
stop.
Department. Oh,
I found it.
we found the bid bond?
Yes.
Okay, so we are back to Holden Industries. We found the bid bond for that, so we will take their bid.
Chief Executive Gallagher, there's a bid bond in the amount of 10% of the overall bid.
Thank you, County Attorney Enroth. Thank you for looking for that.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners, the total lump sum is $165,374. $165,374.
$165,374. Thank you, Director Neary. And we already have a motion and a second. Is that correct? Councilman Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I'll just restate the motion. I make a motion that we refer the bids to the Public Works Department and await their response back.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Mr. Neary, heavy-duty trailer. The first bid kind of answered my question, what we were going to use it for at $99, but obviously that wasn't going to haul a big excavator. But the next two bids, so is this something that, a trailer that would fit the semi to haul equipment, or is this something our Public Works will use for small equipment? What type of trailer?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Callahan, it's a new lowboy.
New lowboy?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Thank you, Mark, appreciate it. And I know you don't have no control over it, but an engineer estimate for a piece of equipment doesn't seem like an engineer should be estimating a piece of equipment. I understand when you get an engineer's estimate, that is what you're budgeted for, correct?
Commissioner Fisher, Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Fisher, you're correct, but this form, we didn't have a form that didn't say, we should have just had one that said estimate. We estimate, we call around for prices to kind of see what the ballpark was, but this is our generic sheet that just said engineers, as we didn't reach out to an engineer for an estimate.
Thanks, Director Neary. It's just an estimate, yeah. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Mark, thank you, Director Neary, thank you once again. So with the differences in these bids from 100,000 to 228, the specs somebody's not been, I mean, these are so varied on a piece of equipment that is a pretty standardized piece of equipment from the specs. Either somebody's not reading the specs right, or something's definitely wrong with this. So when you take it under advisement, I'd appreciate it if you'd get a report back and let us know maybe what is going on here, because one of them were, from 99 to 228, and then in the middle at 165. It's kind of confusing for us as commissioners. So thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Director Neary.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Fisher, you're correct. When we were calling around for prices, this is a 50-ton trailer, and the prices varied that much. I mean, quality might be part of it. I really don't know. I mean, until we dig it deep into this, I'm not really sure why the prices are, but when we called around, the prices did vary.
Thank you. All right. So we have a motion and a second to refer back to Public Works Department. Any other questions of commissioners? Seeing none, could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Next, we're going to move section 3 ahead of section 2. So that is communications to be read and acted upon. The first is communication number 2026-248. John Morgan, Council Chairman, requesting Council Commissioners to approve Marcy Cameron as the interim coroner until one is selected on the evening of May 20th, 2026, as set by Section 5.02, subsection of Butte-Silver Charter. We need to appoint a new coroner within 60 days of the vacancy. We'll interview the candidates on the same evening, May 20th, 2026, at the beginning of the regular meeting. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I just want to give a recap of how we got to where we're at tonight. So we did have the current coroner resign the position, and then at that point it becomes the council's responsibility to go through and fill this this position. I did submit a communication a few weeks ago asking this body to appoint Ms. Cameron as the interim until tonight when we go through and appoint a new coroner. To this point, the HR department of Butte-Silver Bow did do a publication of this position that did close this afternoon at noon. And then at that time, the resumes and application packets were forwarded to this body for your review. We did have, I believe, 4 candidates go through and apply for this position. And I believe HR has already verified that they are a resident of the county. And so I do want to thank all the candidates that did decide to put their name in. And so tonight's official procedure will be that we'll go through and we'll interview all the candidates and we'll be asking them all the same questions. I'm just going to go through in alphabetical order by the last name, and when we get ready to start, I will ask all of the candidates to go out into the hall, and then when we call you back in, we'll ask you the questions. And then at that point, the candidates can decide if they want to stay in the room or not. We don't want the candidates to be in the room prior to having them go through the interview. After we go through those interview questions, what we will do is each commissioner does have a couple ballots, if you will. It's on my messy desk somewhere. Where I will ask the commissioners to choose the top 2 picks. Whoever they might be, you'll write them down, and then we'll have the clerk go through and tally those votes. The 2 of the 4 will then move to the next round, and then the council will decide upon who would be that nomination for the interim coroner from those 2, and we do have those here. The position that we appoint tonight will hold the position until the votes are canvassed in the November ballot. And so there will be an opportunity for anybody, including the ones that either get the appointment today or want to run for the position in November, to file for office with the clerk and recorders. I would suggest that if you're interested in applying for this position, you reach out to the clerk and recorder's office to see exactly when that time period will be. I believe it's a 10-day window that you'll be able to file to fill the vacancy of that position. So that kind of goes outside of what the council is doing here tonight. So is there any questions that the council might have before I proceed with interview questions? Okay. So as I look at the names that are before us, I'm going to first apologize for the pronunciation of any of the names that I might mix up. but we have, I believe it's Tanya Beebe. If you could just acknowledge that you're in the audience, that would be great. I believe I have Tanya Beebe. Commissioners all agree? Is Tanya's not here? Okay. So we'll, Marcy Cameron. Okay. Alexis Groom. No Alexis Groom. Director, there's nobody out there. And then Daryl Mespley. Okay. So I guess just to confirm, Tonya Beebe, B-I-B-E, or B-I-B-B, or geez, B-I-B-E-E, Alexis Groom, and Daryl Mespley are not here. Okay, so the only candidate that we have to interview tonight is Marcy Cameron. Okay, so at this time, there's nobody that has to exit the room. Marcy, I would just ask that you come up to the podium, and we'll continue to proceed through the questions as we would. So, welcome to the meeting.
I'm okay if you don't want to proceed, even though they're a lot of fun.
Marcy, I just want to welcome you, to the council. I'm going to go through and ask you just a series of questions. If you need me to reiterate them or answer any questions on them, please let me know. I can always repeat them if need be. So, Ms. Cameron, please describe your understanding of the primary duties and responsibilities of a coroner and how you would ensure those duties are carried out with professionalism and respect for the community.
The duties of the coroner are basically to respond to sudden, unexplained, suspicious deaths, anything like unattended deaths. We certify death certificates. We notify next of kin. A lot of our job is spent just trying to find next of kin. A lot of times, I've spent the last 2 weeks trying to, even when we find next of kin, a lot of times they don't claim the body. We're responsible for securing the decedent's property until the next of kin can arrive. I have spent the last 2 weeks trying to remove a decedent's vehicle from a local hotel. We found the next of kin. They didn't claim the body. And I'm just simply trying to get the vehicle out of there. And much more difficult than you might think. We perform death investigations, examine the scene, collect evidence. We work with the police. We work with funeral homes. We identify the body, which you might think, well, just compare a driver's license. The family identifies the body. That's not as simple as you might think as well. In a vehicle accident, bodies are misidentified. So now we fingerprint bodies. We do DNA analysis. Gone are the days where you would show somebody a dead body. You don't. That's not done anymore, for obvious reasons. We authorize and sign death certificates, determine cause and manner of death. All of this while trying not to traumatize anybody, showing dignity at all times, trying to remember that this is somebody's loved one, no matter what circumstances you found them in. This is somebody's brother, daughter, child. It inevitably, in a town like Butte, you end up knowing the family or knowing somebody, and just trying to do everything with dignity and respect. And then just maintaining paperwork. There's a lot of administration that goes along with it.
Okay. Thank you. Describe to us your experiences that have prepared you to serve effectively as coroner.
You can get experience to be a coroner a lot of ways. A lot of people have medical backgrounds. A lot of people have law enforcement backgrounds. I basically got my experience being a deputy and just being thrown into it. So I learned investigative techniques along the way, learned human anatomy along the way. The public administration part of it, the budgets, and that sort of thing, I learned at the health department. And working with the police, I've learned a lot of the investigative stuff that way. I have been to 2 40-hour trainings through the MCA, the Montana Coroners Association, Untold. I think I counted out 100 plus hours of advanced coroner training. And then I've been on numerous mass casualty events here in Butte, the airplane wreck. At one point, I'd been on more plane wrecks than I had been on car wrecks, so I've gathered a lot of experience that way as well. So just years of experience, I guess. But you can also get college degrees to do it.
Sure. This position often involves access to confidential and emotionally sensitive information. How would you ensure confidentiality and maintain ethical standards in your work?
Well, there's a lot of guidelines that you need to follow, obviously. There's Montana laws. Basically, minimum necessary disclosure is one of the ones they push a lot. You restrict the information sharing to authorized individuals, law enforcement, medical professionals, and next of kin. Establishing who the next of kin is, I rely on funeral homes a lot to help me identify who that is. You know, everybody thinks they're next of kin, but there really is a structure for that. Montana code lines it out, and there's a lot of family infighting a lot of times, so it's very sensitive. There's next of kin protocols that have to be followed. You can't release any details until it's ironed out who the next of kin is. And then there's secure data handling. I would like to eliminate paper if at all possible, so that any paperwork doesn't get put in anybody else's hands. But until we can go all electronic, I can't do that. The state of Montana has gone to what's called MDI log, where all of our information is uploaded, but there's still paperwork. And right now, we've got a great office. We've got a vault. We can file away anything we have to. That still puts us in an awkward position where files can still be, paperwork can be out there. And I don't like that. I would prefer that I could have everything online if possible.
Okay. If appointed, how would you ensure compliance with the statutory training and continuing education requirements outlined in Montana law, and how would you balance that with the demands of the office?
Right now, it's a pretty good setup. You know, new deputies have to have their 40-hour basic training. All of our deputies, who are great, by the way, have their 40-hour. They're on a schedule where they've all done their 2-year advanced coroner training. So it's pretty easy to track at this point. But it's all uploaded into what's called POST online, which is where law enforcement also uploads their training to. It's easy to track. It's easy to know who is due for training. It's held once in June and once in December. So it's not a problem. It's not a problem for me to go to training either. I've got deputies that can cover it.
Okay. And the last question, is there any reason that would prohibit you from responding to a situation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
No.
Okay. That concludes the interview questions. Thank you, Ms. Cameron. Mr. Chief Executive, members of council, this is a new one for me. So being that there was only one candidate here, I don't see a need to go through the vetting or the voting process. If it would be okay with the council for me just to make a motion, I would do that if that's okay with the council. Okay. Seeing no objection, Mr. Chief Executive, I would like to make a motion that we approve Marcy Cameron as the interim coroner for Butte-Silver Bow, effective, tonight, officially through the end of the November election season, and place communication 2026-248 on file.
We have a motion and a second authorizing Marcia Cameron as the interim coroner until the November election and placing communication, going back to it, what number is that again?
26-248.
2026-248 on file. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. And I want to say we have all the trust and faith in Ms. Cameron. She stepped up in a time that we really needed her, and thank you for doing that. And she does work at the health department, and she will continue to work at the health department at a 50% capacity down there. And I want to thank Karen Malachny as well for facilitating that schedule down there at the health department, for doing that as well. And thanks to the deputy coroners as well, because we do have a great team down there, and our former interim coroner, Mr. Hollis, for training and facilitating our staff down there during the time when we needed that as well. So thank you for that. We've had some challenges, but thank you for all the time and effort you put into that as well. So our community is better because of it. So, all right, moving on. We're going to all right, going to the next item on items to be read and acted upon. Communication number 2026-274. Cindy Sherman, Clerk and Recorder, requesting Council of Commissioners conduct the official canvass of the Melrose Water and Sewer District Trustee election held on May 5th, 2026. Clerk and Recorder Sherman, welcome.
Hi, Chief Executive, Council of Commissioners. I had the Melrose Water Sewer Special District election on May 5th. There was, a total of 44 ballots. My unofficial results on election night that said there was 45 ballots. My election judges had one ballot that was a school ballot in with their ballot. They counted that as one of the ballots until they rejected it. So that's where the 45th ballot came from. I can open the tabulation reports and have you guys take a look at it, see if you approve. And then that's, as long as you approve it, that's all we need to do with it. My report has that I have a total ballot sent as 94. Total ballots received was 44. Total ballots accepted was 44. We had 44 affirmation envelopes, 44 secrecy envelopes, 44 ballots counted. The 45th one was a rejected school ballot. The results are that I have 36 votes for Travis Carpenter, 22 for Ken Haynes, 27 for Charlene Masiorowski, and 19 for Janet Maley. I can give you the reports.
I believe, council, as you look at them, you need to look through them and then you sign off on them. Commissioner Morgan.
Mr. Chief Executive, Ms. Sherman, you had mentioned that there was 44 ballots cast, but that number is off. So can you explain that again?
For the votes.
Yeah. Oh, because you vote.
You get a vote for 3
the
candidates.
votes with for when you're counting up the votes for each candidate, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so they could vote for 3, but many of them only voted for 1 or 2, so it doesn't equal out to 44. So
Right.
that's why.
Okay. And then clerk and recorder, do they just, would you like the commissioners to just initial or
Yeah.
sign?
Yeah, just sign on the bottom there. I have the ballots present if you want to take a look at them, but yeah, that would be the reason why the numbers are different, is that I think many people just voted for 1 candidate or 2, so.
Would you like to open the next ones and then we can just continue to pass them around? Okay.
What, would you like to take a look at the ballots, or?
We're just
Yeah.
canvassing this one. Okay.
Yeah, my other envelopes are just the affirmation
Oh, the
envelopes, the
affirmation,
secrecy
okay.
envelopes,
Okay,
the voted ballots, and then the undeliverable
gotcha.
ballots.
I think we're good. Okay.
Mr. Chief Executive, I'm so old that we used to count signatures on these things.
We do not want Senator Koff back here again.
Right.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Thanks, Chief Executive. As we're sitting there counting these, can I ask a question about what are the responsibilities of these 3 candidates? Like, what do they do exactly?
Commissioner O'Neill, clerk and recorder.
But they are the trustees of the Water Sewer District. I think they just hold meetings and make decisions on that district, just a lot like you guys do here, just specific for that district.
That answer your question? Yeah. So they're separate. They're their own governing body. They have their own taxing jurisdiction of that sewer water district. Yeah.
And I could add,
Go, clerk and recorder.
so I had to do this outside of my election software that gives me in ElectMT, our election software. It tells, like, for your commissioner district, I just enter Commissioner District 1, and it'll bring up all the voters in that district. We actually don't have the Melrose Water Sewer District in there at this time. It's something that I have GIS working on. Hopefully we get that done soon. So in the future, I can run the election that way. So. Okay, I think that concludes the canvass. Thank you.
Thank you, clerk and recorder. So now we'll just make a motion on this. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I'll make a motion that we concur with Communication 2026-274, having this body review and approve the official tabulation of the ballots for the Melrose Water and Sewer District trustee election and place on file.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2026-274 and place on file. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yea, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving back to Section 2, tonight's consent agenda, A 1 through 4 and B 1 through 23. Do we have any friendly amendments and or segregations? Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I'd actually like to segregate number 10, 2026-260.
That's item number 10. Communication number 2026-260. Any other friendly amendments? Commissioner Fisher and then Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I would like to segregate number 6, 26, 256. Thank you.
That's item number 6, 2026-256.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Leary. Okay. Any other friendly amendments or segregations? Seeing none, Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I make a motion that we approve Section 2, the consent agenda, A, the committee reports 1 through 4, B, communications 1 through 23, with the exclusion of number 6, 2026-256, and number 10, 2026-260.
We have a motion and a second approving tonight's consent agenda. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving to item number 6, communication number 2026-256, Will O'Connor, Land Records Coordinator, requesting Council Commissioners authorized to have Chief Executive Gallagher sign a professional service agreement with Everly and Associates and Brown and Associates for examining land surveying services. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Reason for segregation is there's no cost in this contract.
Commissioner Fisher, Mr. O'Connor.
It's $130 per hour. I can include that in there if you want me to. But that's the cost for both of them, is $130 per hour.
Thank you, Mr. O'Connor. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. With that being said, if there's any other comments from commissioners, if not, I'll make a motion to concur and place on file 2026-256.
We have a motion and a second to concur and place on file communication number 2026-256. Is there anything else on the question? Commissioner O'Leary, you're good? Okay. Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 10, communication number 2026-260, Ed Vanderup, GNCDC, requesting council commissioners to establish procedures and ordinance guidelines for Butte-Silver Bowl Council Commissioners to delegate a citizen from each Council of Commissioners district as stipulated under Clause 3.03E. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Originally, when I did see this, I did make a suggestion to refer it to the Rules Committee, but I know a month or so ago, this has been a kind of a hot button item with the council on community councils. And as everybody knows, the Rules Committee is going to be in a smaller format as there's only 3 commissioners that are on it. And so it would probably do a little bit more due diligence to have it referred to the Committee of the Whole so that we can have a full body discussion on what the whole council would like to see on this. And I do have a couple of questions, you know, if that's the decision of the council to move it to the Committee of the Whole, is, you know, even in the sheet of paper today that Mr. Vanderob sent out, he did say that we voted on a judiciary ordinance 14-8 and it was denied. There was a rule at one time, and I believe it's still on the books, that the council, once it takes action on a certain item, cannot take action on the same item again. And so I would just push that maybe to the county attorney just to do some research on, if you could let us know if that is true or not, for us to consider, and if it's an exact same thing. You know, that would be a question that I would have in a committee meeting. And then the other thing that, you know, I would go back in time to when Mr. Vanderob, which it's good to see a communication from Mr. Vanderob. I noticed that we do have a Mrs. Vanderob in the audience, so welcome in his place, and I'm sure he's listening to this meeting. Is I always wondered what the basic question that I always had to Mr. Vanderob is, tell us in plain words exactly what you're asking us to do. You know, you're asking us to put together a delegate or delegate a citizen from each of the districts, but I don't know what that means. Like, so if we just put together a committee with 12 districts, how does that help? How does it hurt? So these are all questions that, we can all kind of start asking ourselves and see the best way to proceed. But as you can tell, there's a lot of discussions that I think needs to happen with this. So at this time, I think a better venue for this, for time allotments, speakers, microphones, that type of stuff, would be to refer communication 2026-260 to the committee of the whole so that we can fully discuss it. And I would make that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second to refer communication number 2026-260 to the committee of the whole. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Thank you, Chairman Morgan. I appreciate your input on that. Going back to you referred to the Rules Committee, as you know, Bill Anderson was the chairman at one time, and he's no longer with us. So I believe sometime I heard through the grapevine that Michelle Shea is going to substitute in for Bill. This has been going around a long time, and I understand where you're coming from about, we did visit about this years ago, but maybe it might be better to go back to the Rules Committee. And years ago, the way this was community councils, when this was initiated in the original charter, I believe was more to do with fire districts, Well, now our commission districts overlap in fire districts, so they're not the same. So to get a guideline to how you'd want to do community councils, which is on the agenda now, and it's going to be on the future agenda, however the government goes. There's got to be something, guidelines set out, a map set out. We've got to do something, and I don't know whether we should get a recommendation from Rules Committee or some committee to get some type of format and bring it to the council as we do a lot of other things. I mean, once we get into full council about it, with 12 members all trying to decide if we should have what kind of districting we should do, like our commission districts are pretty broad. I mean, if you take like Dan Callahan's district, he's way out, and Mr. O'Leary, you're getting way out into the different areas. So I'm not sure how we go about this. I'm not opposed to your recommendation. I'm just thinking that we got to get something within the council to make this a little smaller feed for the 12 commissioners than have 12 commissioners feeding in on this one communication that Mr. Vanderhoff has to delegate a citizen from each district. Like you said, where are the districts? Where did come the districts? So I'm not opposed. I'm just weighing in on it because I've been through it like you for many years, and I'm not sure how we go about this, but it seems to be popular with the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Commissioner Fisher, I appreciate the comments. I think that's exactly what I'm looking for is if we move this to the committee of the whole, all the commissioners can give us some input on what they would like to see us do. And then at that point, we can always refer it to the Rules Committee and take that input to go before them, to come back to us so that we can make that decision. I've been through enough of these that if it goes to the Rules Committee and we have that short window of, a half an hour for these meetings, we really can't dive too deep into it. And sometimes the time allotments don't allow us to. And I'm afraid that the three of us, it's me, Commissioner Fisher, and Commissioner Shea, we'll go down a path and then we'll bring it back to the council, and maybe that's not exactly what the full council wants. So then it goes back to Rules Committee. So to me, we're wasting a bunch of time. And what I'm hoping to do is not waste that time so that we can get everybody's input. And then if it's warranted, to move it to the Rules Committee for those, finer discussions, just so we can start somewhere. Ordinance 14-8, I'm just going off of Mr. Vanderhoff's thing. If you probably look at that timeline, from what I remember, it was a long timeline that it was on our books for, and I'm trying to circumvent that again so that hopefully we can come to a solution much quicker.
Thanks, Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. I appreciate your comment. My district's about 3/4 of Silver County. We could take 6 people and we'd still have trouble covering it. So great recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Callahan. Any other commissioners? So, Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Chairman Morgan, I concur with your thoughts, and I agree. Maybe we should hash this out with a group of people and then maybe send it back to the Rules Committee and get some fine lines on it. So I concur with your recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. So we have a motion and a second to refer to the Committee of the Whole. Is there anything else on the question? Could commissioners please vote? Commissioner Boyle, I don't think yours went. And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. So we've already done section 3. Moving on to section 4, resolution ordinance for final reading. We have 4 of them. First one is resolution number 2026-18. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution of intent to modify City County of Butte-Silver Bow Ordinance 2.16020 to alter the boundaries of the City County of Butte-Silver Bow, Montana's Fire Services District to include the boundaries of 3 MCT District and approve for effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place Council Resolution 2026-18 on final reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second, placing resolution number 2026-18 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. With this moving to final reading, I understand there's going to be another public hearing on June 10th, and I understand a lot what's going on in this. I've been a little bit involved in it. At this time, I'm in opposition to this resolution due to the fact that I think if we're going to expand the fire district, we should do it countywide, not just target the people in the Montana connections because they have the deepest pockets. I mean, if we're going to do this, we should do it right the first time so we don't have to come back and do it at a later date. You know, and we lured these people in here with tax abatements of some kind to get them into the Montana connections. Now it seems like with the economy being the way it is, we're dropping the hammer on them kind of fast. So at this time, I'm opposed to it. Not saying I will be forever, but at this time, I'm opposed to moving this resolution forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I am on the total opposite stance of Commissioner Fisher. I had thrown these numbers out in judiciary, but I'm not sure if the general public necessarily watches our committee meetings. And so I think it's important, firstly, to talk about Commissioner Fisher's point about the tax abatements and them being in an economic district, because I understand that you're referring probably to REC. In my mind, it's important that, yes, they purchased property, they've developed property out in the TIF and have been a part of an economic district for 30 years. Of which they've reaped the benefits for. And my understanding is if you're in an economic district, the goal is to develop that for the betterment of all, not specifically one business, but for everybody out in the district, but for the entire community as well. And so I think it's important too that for the general public to understand that this resolution leads to several things. Firstly, it isn't the end of this process. It will have to go, like Commissioner Fisher said, through an ordinance change, and be agreed upon by council there. But a point that I'd like to make is that Butte-Silver Bow has 3 major ratepayers, and it is Northwestern Energy, Montana Resources, and REC Silicon. Northwestern Energy in fire services or fire protection services tax alone, that does not include emergency services tax. In that tax alone, they pay $668,866 in tax year 2025. Montana Resources paid $935,137.82 in tax year 2025. REC Silicon, the third ratepayer, paid $0 in that. And so I understand your perspective of going countywide on this, but I also think the perspective is REC takes a bulk share of it. That's because their property is worth more. That's how property taxes work. And furthermore, they just are about to purchase $1.2 million worth of land to only increase that. And so I have a very hard time stomaching why the Butte-Silver Bow taxpayers who already do pay this pay more than a company who, whether you see it or not, can afford to buy $1.2 million worth of land, where some of us here in town can't can't, or you want to talk about having a hard time surviving in this economy. Look at the taxpayers that are already paying this and compare it to a company that hasn't paid any. And so I have a really hard time with that. I think that it's important that, you know, moving forward, we consider this. If this doesn't pass, we are looking at tax or cuts to our fire department. I think it's also important to recognize that this tax funds not only our paid fire department, but money also flows into our volunteer departments as well. And so if everybody's concerned about both of those, I think it would be wise, in my opinion, to try to do what we can right now to reap back or to gain back some money in order to afford, you know, fire protection services, because in my opinion that isn't an area that we should be wavering on or giving up. So that's my stance on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Thatcher. Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. First of all, I think that's comparing apples to oranges just because of their locations. I'm also, from talking to some people, that under the understanding that this is possibly not even legal. You can't put somebody in a 10 rating fire rating and tax them the same price as you put somebody in a 4 rating tax rating, and that's basically what you're trying to do here. But that's something that somebody's going to have to figure out. My next question is to have Mr. Osborne come up here and explain to us what this is about.
Commissioner Callahan, Director Osborne. Director Osborne.
Yes, Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioners, like I was up here a while ago explaining that the absorption of the Montana Connections area is key to sustaining a healthy fire department. We have been up against our cap of the fire fund, and like Commissioner Thatcher explained, nobody out there pays into the fire fund. Commissioner Callahan mentioned that they are a 10 rating. They are within 5 miles of a fire department, so they are not a 10 rating. They are the smaller rating for Butte-Silver Bow. But we are just asking for you guys to move this along in the process so that the ordinance change process can continue. Another public hearing will be available for those property owners out there to come and speak their mind on this process. I can't disagree with Mr. Fisher's comment of the whole county possibly should go that route, and that's something that we can look into in the future. We just thought that we could start here, and it's not because that they have the biggest pockets. It's because that they pose the biggest danger. We train, we think, we visit out there a lot, and it's our belief that they should be absorbed into our fire tax.
Thanks, Director Osborne. Follow Commissioner Callahan.
Mr. Osborne, can you explain to us what the cap means?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Osborne.
Well, Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner, a certain amount of money is in our fire services tax fund. I had it in my presentation, not sure what it is off the top of my head, but our total budget between the two taxes is $6 million. But we have a certain amount of available funds in that fire fund, and wages and benefits with equipment, with fuel prices, with everything that we have to pay, we have reached that cap.
I think the Finance and Budget Director could answer that question for us, how the cap is allocated here. Finance and Budget Director Hassler.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher, members of council. The cap is determined by Montana Code Annotated. It's a formula called 1510-420. It's a section. And that's where they take the certified value of the value of the properties within the boundary, and it goes through a formula, and that's where they determine based on what you had taxed in the previous year, what your certified value is. It backs off some new construction costs, and it also includes an annual inflation factor, but that determines the maximum number of mills that you can levy for the taxing jurisdiction. And the fire protection fund is very near that cap and has been for the last several years.
Follow-up, Commissioner Callahan.
So basically what you're saying is it's a state law telling you cannot tax people more than this much for the service you give in this area. Is that what you're saying?
Commissioner Callahan, Director Hassler.
It's state law how they determine how much you can tax. It is capped to ensure that you're not overtaxing your population, but it doesn't, it just creates a cap. So it's
Commissioner Callahan, and it's based on your district. And so our district, by where we're at, and so if we don't expand that district, we are regulated within that district. And so by expanding our district, we are able to have more capability of taxing more and expanding our capabilities of having more taxable value in that district. So right now, within our district, we are not able to bring in more taxing jurisdiction because we're at our cap value. But by encompassing Montana connections, that gives us more taxable value, which Montana connections, there's a lot more infrastructure out there. There's a lot more taxable value out there. So that we can, as we bring that in, then that raises our cap value there. Follow-up, Commissioner Callahan.
I just want to respond that it gets said several times in this argument that these people don't pay for fire service. They pay an emergency service. And the amount that area paid last year was $185,000, is what we were told by Mr. Osborne. That's what we were told at one of our meetings. So if that's wrong, you can correct that. But anyway, the cap is so you don't overtax people for the service you're given. If we go back and look what we've done in this community for the last 5 to 6 years, the amount of money we spend for our fire department. What was it, 5, 6 years ago, we bought a new CAD system, and obviously the Sheriff's Department shares that. You're talking over $1 million we spent, taxpayers had to pay. We bought a brand new fire truck. We bought we just recently bought two brand new emergency service trucks. In the last couple of years, they've bought 2 wildland fire trucks. In that same time, we bought the assistant chief a brand new pickup. You go back in the history of the Butte Fire Department and see if the fire department's ever spent that kind of money in that short of a period. When you hit your cap, it's because you're spending too much money. Is it necessary? I mean, holy cow, how much money has this? That's just the top of we're not even digging into what they're really spending. Like I said earlier tonight, when they're calling people out for overtime, that's double time. The amount of money we're spending, we've got to look into finding ways to operate within our budget. To turn around and try to ask the taxpayers for more money when maybe we're just overspending money isn't right. It's obvious that we need to take a look at how much money's being spent. Go back and look and see in the history of the fire department any time period that they've spent that kind of money. One thing when we were on fire advisory we ran into was they buy things in volume. We decided 6, 7 years ago, you can't buy things in volume because what happens is they term out at the same time and you're stuck buying them in volume again. You're supposed to stagger stuff. Since I've seen Mr. Osborne in that position, he hasn't been doing that. He just replaced 2 of our emergency vehicles at the same time. You got to stagger them so they don't wear out at the same time, so they come back and cost you that much money. You're more than welcome to respond.
Commissioner Callahan, I will respond to that. Our equipment is not up to date. Our equipment is, we are responding with outdated equipment. We are responding with fire engines that are outdated. We do not have up-to-date equipment. That what you are saying is so inaccurate. We have fire engines that are in the repair shop over and over again, and it is outdated. And so what you're saying is so inaccurate. You are uneducated about what you're stating right now. We are responding with fire engines on emergency calls. That what we're running with and what we're having to do, you are wrong. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but you are absolutely wrong on what we're doing. And so, yes, we have to have equipment. We have to run on emergency calls all the time in this community. Every single emergency call that happens in this community, the fire station gets called on. They have to go with that, and they have to respond with equipment. And the fire engines roll on that. They have to have that stuff. And you wait for a second while I respond for a second. To sit here and degrade what our fire department does, to sit here and say those things, you are absolutely wrong. We do not have this first-class fleet of equipment that we're rolling on. The fire engines that they have right now is out of date. Our fire engines right now are not first-class fire engines. They are running on a depleted fire engines that half the time don't work. So I'm sorry, but you are wrong on what you're stating. Now, if you want to state something, go ahead, Commissioner Callahan.
I will state you are wrong. Everything I mentioned, we have purchased in the last 5 or 6 years. There is nothing wrong about that. And for you to sit there and say that they're responding to broken down trucks, we bought a brand new fire truck 3 years ago. And you know where that went? If we're responding to broken down trucks? Why did you send it to California for a month in December and a month in July? Tell me that. Why are we spending our brand new equipment if all our other equipment's broke down and you're sending it to California?
You're wrong. Just saying. Director Osborne.
Yeah, Chief Executive, council members, I just want to clarify some things. Every vehicle that Commissioner Callahan just explained, the Type 3 engine that we bought 3 years ago was paid for from the EMAC funds that we went on from California. The 2 rescue trucks that we're about to put into service here shortly was purchased from deployment money. The other Type 6 wildland truck that was purchased was a 12-year-old truck that we bought from DNRC, again, from DNRC money. Okay, those aren't getting paid for from the taxpayers. They are getting paid for from the money that we are getting by going on deployments. I haven't once came up here and asked for excess dollars or funds to purchase an engine or vehicles that came out of anything besides wildland funds.
Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I'm also of the opinion that if there's a fire at my house, or if there's a fire out on Beef Trail at my mom's house, if there's a fire up in Walkerville, I want good equipment responding. I want to know that that's where my tax dollars are going, is to equipped firemen and well-serviced equipment. And so I am perfectly fine, even if that was the case, to recognize that we have equipment that is protecting the citizens of Butte-Silver. Secondly, we approve a budget every single year. Commissioner Callahan, I believe you've approved it every single year. It's been unanimous. The fire department asks for these things, or if they don't come in a grant, they ask for certain things in the budget. I believe it's been approved unanimously over the last course of the years that you're talking about. And lastly, to Commissioner Fisher and to Commissioner Callahan saying to go back to our taxpayers, I would like for you guys to go back to your taxpayers and ask them if they're okay with paying more than a multi-billion-dollar or multi-million-dollar company, if they are okay paying more in the fire services tax than a multi-million-dollar company out in the port. Thank you.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I know, this particular topic has a lot of emotions in it. And I just want to remind everybody of why we're here and why we're on the commission seat. When we get to these hot button items, I mean, it's challenging to know what is right and wrong. And you really have to look at these in a simplistic form of where we're at. This particular communication has evolved over the last several months, where we've heard names of particular businesses that we're either targeting or we're looking into. And I just want to note that it's not one particular business that we're looking at. We're looking at a district. And part of looking at the fire district is trying to figure out what is best for this community. This has been, on topics before with TED and TIF districts of the best way to proceed with them is they start to sunset or they don't. And this was an avenue for this body to consider and look at. And I think that's what we all have to remember. To go back to what Commissioner Thatcher just said is every property owner in Butte-Silver Bow pays their share of taxes. And part of that, you can just decide what that definition is, but at the end of the day, when their house is on fire, they want fire trucks to respond to their house. I was a member of the fire service for many years, and that's what the overall goal was. And so you don't care who's paying the bill at that point, you just want your house to not be on fire. And so if you look at it and you compare it to a fairness thing, this is just bringing on another entity, which is more than one entity. We keep focusing that it's just one. There's multiple businesses that are in here. And the challenge with this particular district is I'm getting to the point that I don't know if we're against the creation of the district or if we're against Director Osborne for promoting this for this body to consider. And I think that's, in its fairest form, it's the district that we're looking to modify the fire department service and bring it on board so that we can just better perfect our fire services within Butte-Silver Bow. Again, I know there's a lot of emotion on this. We are a council of commissioners. I just ask that everybody, keep it professional and keep it on the point of what we're looking to do here. I know this isn't the first and the last time we're going to disagree. That's why we vote, and you get your say in the vote, and that's what I would say on this.
Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Director Kayla Lappin was here a week or so ago, gave us a report on these TIFs and TEDs and all this, She said there's 800 employees out there in that district. And, if we're going to raise the taxes on them people out there, and they got to lay off 8 or 10 people so we can hire 3 more administrators in the fire department, we're not talking about equipment. The equipment never was mentioned in the report was given. They want to hire 3 administrators. Point 1. Point 2 is the fire department is funded through our budget every year. And, we as wardens of the dollar, we work through that, and we try to make it fit for everybody. All departments would like a little more money. I mean, Mr. Neary, he's got the most county support. Everybody in the county would like better roads, and let's face it, we don't have that many fires. Everybody talks about the house burning down. When's the last time we had a big fire in Butte that we lost something? Back in the 70s, when they burned Park Street and Medical Arts Spring and all these, I was around then. I mean, I'm not old. So let's not talk too much about fire, and let's just talk about too much money. And the other thing is, the fire department is a service. It's a service that's supposed to be rendered to the people of Butte. It's not an enterprise fund like the dump or the water company. It's not an enterprise fund. It's funded by taxpayer money. And by anyone thinking that by giving this fire fund money from Montana Connections is lower your fire fund in the neighborhood. It's not. It's not going to lower anybody's taxes. It's going to remain the same. So, I mean, let's just try to keep things on a level keel. I'm not totally against this. All I'm saying now is that, you know, right now, it's a tough sell. Because if you read the red line of this, it says, for every $10 million, it's $20,000 taxes. I mean, if you read the red line here, that's what it says. And then when you read from somebody out there from REC, they said, well, it's going to cost them $200,000. I'm confused on that, and I'm confused on the way the process is going with this. And like I said, I'm not against it. I just think we got to get things leveled out a little better and get both teams sat down, which we haven't done yet, and this has been on the agenda for a good 2 or 3 months. I think we really got to sit down and iron this out so that both sides find a win-win. And there is a win-win here. There's no doubt there's a win-win here. But I think Chief Osborne done a good job in the red line he done in the revised division. I think that was a good job. And I have no qualms with anybody about it. I'm just saying that things are different right now than they were years ago. Money's tough. Business is tough. And if you got 800 employees out there and each lay off 3, that's 24 employees that I think we can't afford to lose. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Callahan.
I just want to respond to Ms. Thatcher's talking about the budget. Go back and check the budget. The budget has not passed unanimously for the last 4 years, without a question. Next, I want to talk to Mr. Osborne. He said how he bought these pieces of equipment. No, you never bought that fire truck with that money. This council approved $300,000 of ARPA money for you to have a part of that fire truck bought. So to get up there and falsify the facts, that ain't right. I know what goes on in the fire department. And for you to sit there and tell me I'm wrong, I've been here longer than you have, and I've been involved in this fire thing for 9 years. I'm paying attention to what's going on, so don't accuse me and keep telling me I'm wrong.
Commissioner Callahan.
All that stuff was purchased in 5 years.
You're sitting up here accusing other people of a lot of other things. You're stating facts that aren't facts. I'm sorry about that, but you're stating facts that aren't facts. They have got engines truly that are outdated, that they are in there. So now I'm just saying, if we're going to just do this, this is my meeting, not yours, and we're going to move on from this because you've made it personal. We're not going to do that. We're going to just move on. We're going to go back on the resolution. I'm not going to call a point of order on myself. Commissioner O'Leary.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I'm going to bring a little bit of levity to this conversation by talking about backyard chickens for just a second. And I promise this is relevant. I was digging around in the code when we were talking about the backyard chickens, and I, for some reason, years ago when we wrote the animal ordinance, or the animal control ordinance, in Section B, the boundaries of the animal control ordinance these boundaries are noted to be contemporaneous with those of the Fire Protection Services District provided in 7.03 G. So when we go to expand this district, we're going to inadvertently expand the animals control ordinance to the TIFID, which I think is probably not our intention. So as we go through this process, I think it'd be really good for us to revisit that particular boundary description. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Leary. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. Just so Commissioner O'Leary knows why that was because there was no city limits that were defined to go off of. So the fire districts were still established, and so that's why the fire districts was involved.
Thanks, Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Director Hassler, can I ask you a question quick? It's been stated that this might not have, it may not change the people within the boundaries who already pay within this, they already pay this tax within the boundaries. Is that true? Or could this have an adverse effect potentially have an adverse effect on their tax?
Commissioner Thatcher, Director Hassler.
Chief Executive Gallagher, Commissioner Thatcher, members of council. I don't believe it'll decrease the amount that they will pay. Again, it is based on the number of mills that are levied, and the 1510-420 dictates how many mills can be levied based on the certified value, and it's also based on a taxable value. So I don't believe it would lower, but it certainly shouldn't increase the amount.
Follow-up, Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Director Hassler. I appreciate that. And then just one last comment I wanted to make. You know, Commissioner Fisher asked when the last time we had a fire was that we lost something. And granted, yes, we lost CM&M, but I would like to point out that that's probably a kudos to our fire department for responding to the fire so we don't lose things, so people don't lose their stuff. Thank you.
Commissioner Thatcher, thank you. Commissioner O'Neill.
Thank you, Chief Executive. I just wanted to make a point, too, on the stuff when we're buying for certain people. You know, the Public Works, and I'm not kicking Director Neary by no means, but we run a backhoe through here for $300,000, and everybody's like, sweet, cool, no big deal. It goes, high five, they get the bids, they buy it, good deal. The first time the fire department has had a four-wheel drive fire truck was when the last one was just purchased, which I couldn't believe that when we voted for that to go. I was amazed that all the hills and the snow we have here, we finally get an all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive truck and a four-door one, right? It's pretty cool. It was just in the 2000s of this last 5 years we actually got one. It's crazy, right? The fight about that's crazy. Like, I'm going to piggyback off of Commissioner Thatcher that, yeah, I hope that we have operatable equipment to come, to go service to communities. But it is crazy. I'll repeat myself again. Bids go through here all the time. That's no big deal. And the fire department is trying to increase it to protect the community, which will then filter down to the volunteers as well if there's a bigger budget. It all costs money, right, to run the fire services thing. Like, shouldn't we want that to be a good thing? And money comes from taxes, right? We need the tax revenue. We all know that. Like, the tax revenue pays for the services for our town, for all that. I mean, I could go on forever. I just want to make my point about the difference in the equipments that we let go through the budget here all the time. Nobody says a word. And even, what about the police department, right? When they run some through here, it's like, these guys make too much money. I don't know. We want to bring back the horse and buggy so they can. I just think it's crazy. We should want the best for our town, right? The best equipment, so we're not worried about this stuff. Anyways, I'm done.
Thanks, Commissioner O'Neill. So there is a motion on the floor. Is there any other discussion? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
8 yea, 2 nay.
8 yea, 2 nay, motion passes. So Commissioner Callahan would like to change his to a nay. So we would have
7 yea, 3 nay.
7 yea, 3 nay. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 2, resolution number 2026-26. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution directing the Butte-Silver Treasurer's Department to mail notice of pending tax deed issuance to all persons considered interested parties for each property for which there has been issued a tax lien certification in accordance with the provision of section 15-18-212 MC, further directing the treasurer to issue a tax deed for those parcels of property where there has been issued a tax lien certificate and the expiration date of the redemption period has expired and the required payments have not been made, and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I move to place Council Resolution 2026-26 on final reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second placing resolution number 2026-26 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 3, resolution number 2026-27. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regular scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue to the Butte-Silver Parking Commission to be expended in the Parking Commission Fund and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I move to place Council Resolution 2026-27 on final reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second place on resolution number 2026-27 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to item number 4, resolution number 2026-28. Clerk, please read the caption.
A resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regular scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue to the Butte-Silver Parking Garage to be expended in the Parking Garage Fund and providing for an effective date herein.
Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I move to place Council Resolution 2026-28 on final reading and passed, having been deemed fully read at length.
We have a motion and a second place on resolution number 2026-28 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Could commissioners please vote? And would anyone like to change their vote? Clerk, please record the vote.
Ten yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Moving on to the next item, calendar and other meeting events. Please note the date and times of all the meetings and events. Next, we'll move on to any item or public comment on any item on the agenda that is not on the agenda tonight. Seeing none, I would take a motion to adjourn.